Hi, intrepid viewers. Well, there's a few things to cover today. Let's face it, it hasn't been a good news week, has it? It's been sad in some ways. Lisa Marie Presley has passed, Jeff Beck has passed. I do want to share, I went to a birthday party at Jeff Beck's house back in 1979, but I have to confess, he didn't turn up, at least not while I was there, and I left at dawn. So somehow I got an invitation via his second wife or the current girlfriend or whoever it was. It's a bit hazy, but I have been to Jeff Beck's house. Okay. So look, let's hope they're in a better place, because really poor old Lisa Marie, wasn't easy, and losing her son like that. So my heart goes out to her mom. Okay, so if you want to know what I have to say about the documents being found in Biden's residences, I covered that with Hogarth and Lady G. You can check that out. But just for the record here, so you know the gist of it, I don't actually think they were planted. Some people do, some don't. But the net result is there will, of course, be a special inquiry. And even though we know that you can't compare what has happened with Biden's boxes and Trump's boxes, we know that there was a very different intent involved at every step of the way. However, it really undermines Jack Smith's case on this. It's hard to argue my special documents are less special than your special secret documents. It's what they call in soccer an own goal, So I think it's taken a lot of the fire out of the case. And what I think Merrick Garland should do, like he listens to an Australian tarot reader, he should get Jack Smith to actually separate the investigations, put another investigative team in charge of that, and focus on the other issues. And I'll be reading on later today. All right. So also I want to say big commiserations for those who are struggling in California and other places with these huge floods, massive flooding going on. Just a second here. Sorry, just a bit of domesticity going on at my end. So, yes, so hope you're all safe and dry. In the meantime, another of Steve Bannon's lawyers has walked, throwing up his hands in the air saying it's his life, So that's on those charges, which are money laundering, conspiracy, and the fraud. We will build the wall with your money. Except, you know what? We're going to run off with your money. So that's all going on. We do have to look at Thursday and the risk of the shutdown over the debt ceiling. Okay, let's do that first, get it out of the way. Sorry, there's so many dogs. We've got 3 dogs in this house, and I keep seeing another dog flying by. So we knew and know, it's an active thing, that the new Congress will do everything it can to make life complicated for the Dems and the raising of the debt ceiling. Just hang on, I have to pause again. Now, the biggest thing the Republicans have in their arsenal to hold over the Dems is the debt ceiling. For now, they're going to try and get all sorts of compromises, and they're going to lead with Social Security, cutting Social Security, because that's the only way they can think of to get revenue back in the coffers, right? We mustn't tax rich people because they might not like it. No, 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 no. Let's take a living income or a barely living income from really poor people, because that's what we stand for, right? Don't you love the rationale? It's the same with conservative governments everywhere, not just the US, but it's particularly obscene in the US when you have the wealth disparity that is the biggest in the world. So they're going to go big guns social. So how's that going to play out? What are the compromises that the Dems are going to have to make? Let's have a look at this. Come on down. Okay. So what have these cards got to say? Well, I think with these cards, it's not going to be sorted out on Thursday. That's for sure. Okay. King of Wands. Now, this could be a test of Hakeem Jeffries. He's now the minority speaker, but I'm wondering about that. But it is a powerful person who has a compelling way of speaking, and it manages to convey a more sensible approach to what's going on. That would be falling on deaf ears, wouldn't it, with this new Congress? But I have a feeling it could be him in some role, because Biden appears later in this. Okay. Now, this is the argy-bargy. If you're new to this channel, argy-bargy is an Australian term, and it's about usually like when guys are in a pub and, you know, they bang chests and carry on. There's no real fight, but they just, with the wah-wah, right? This is the Five of Wands. It's going to go in a circle. So the Republicans are going to go, we're not giving in, we want this. And the Dems are going, we've got a line in the sand, we can't go below this. It's going to go round and round and round. What is at the center of this reading? Well, theft. As I just said a minute ago, it's stealing from the people under the guise, they always put it under the guise of balancing the budget, like it's a responsible thing to do. And it sounds good. You know, national debt is bad and we need to balance the books, but it's how they intend balancing the books is that this is a moment in time that is fated. In a way, this fight that's going to come up for the debt ceiling is going to set the tone for all the rest of the fights to come, and there will be many. But it's like America is at this karmic point. Let me digress. It's time for the Dems. This is a perfect opportunity to say, if you want to lose your Social Security, vote Republican, because they fully intend taking it away from you. And they should be saying this at every point of the day and night. And if it is fear-mongering, no, it's not, because the threat is real. They've got to push this line, not complex explanations of anything. No, they're coming after your Social Security because they won't tax each other. It's actually not a complicated argument. Really, it isn't. But this is a point where it's an inflection point for America, and the deeply held patterns and passions of the different parties will be on display here. Biden, I think this is somewhat miraculous if these cards are right, God bless him, can swing a deal, or he thinks he can swing a deal. I'm not talking about just Joe Biden, it's the top level negotiators. But then, just when they think they've got a deal, they get stabbed in the back. right? Are we surprised? Not for a moment. Okay. And then things will go behind closed doors again. There'll be more conversations. So what I would say we're looking at is there'll be open arguments that we'll all hear about. We will think a deal has been struck, and they'd be lying. Truly. I mean, this pattern. And please don't think I'm just America bashing here. That is not my intention. It's the same dynamic in most countries. Oh, the Conservatives are really good with the economy. No, they spend more always, but it's on different things. So let's go. Now, we'll have a quick look. Oh, yes. Remember the card said Katie Porter probably won't get this seat of Dianne Feinstein's. And since then, I found out Adam Schiff was running, and he's a very worthy candidate. But we don't have to worry about Katie because she's still young enough and talented enough that she will do a good job wherever she is. And yes, I agree with you from California who said the timing was awful. And people are struggling and are suffering at the moment with all this. So it's the debt ceiling. Oh, you may be surprised or not to know there's another inquiry that's somehow dragging in the Yeti. Now, I'm not a golf fan. I follow a lot of sports, but golf isn't one of them. But the PGA, the big top of golf land, have already launched an inquiry into this organisation called LIV, L-I-V Golf, headed up by none other, entertainment purposes only, MBS, Mohammed bin Salman from Saudi Arabia. And he paid the Yeti millions of dollars to have LIV golf tournaments, Bedminster and other places. So the PGA, which I'd imagine is a very conservative body, is struggling with this. I don't think this is even an alleged like situation. I think they've stumbled across the money. So let's have a look. PGA is running a lawsuit against LIV. So how will that lawsuit pay out? Because the Yeti's just a recipient of this, but they're looking at the whole organisation. The PGA laws case. Okay. Right. Now, King of Cups, which in this case I don't think is Biden, but it is an older man who can be quite manipulative. The opposite, let me just clarify for those learning tarot. The King of Cups is someone who, when it's positive, like Biden, who understands other people's deep pain. He really actually gets it, is capable of empathizing and wants to see people being emotionally nourished and repaired, you know. When it's not well aspected, which it isn't here, it's someone who's highly emotionally manipulative. So this could possibly be MBS himself or whoever the head of LIV, L-I-V, is. Secrets, many secrets and backhanders. But now that's being exposed, leaving people out in the cold. So I don't think with this card, of the High Priestess, I don't think we're going to be privy to the ins and outs of everything about this court case, but there'll be enough to know that the LIV organisation will be frozen out of, I think, high-level golf land. Okay. Three of Swords. You notice a pattern here. We've just watched the World Cup soccer being held in Qatar. It was blatant from the beginning, and there are many, many articles supporting this and stuff that it was a corrupt bid. But nonetheless, they won, and the whole tournament that's been going for 100 years at a particular time of the year, it was all changed. Qatar promised it would be the greenest World Cup ever. Well, you can say that when you don't intend to do anything. And in fact, apparently it was one of the worst ever, because if you make a desert an oasis, imagine the water that's required to do that, you know, just ridiculous. And this is a stab in the heart. Oh, the point I was going to make was, when people have all the money in the world, more than they could possibly spend in a lifetime, they want to buy baseball teams, they want to buy NFL teams, they want to buy soccer teams, they want to run these things. These things should not be personal party pieces, international sports. Bit of heartbreak. However, in the end, Temperance, maybe they'll have to, I'll just turn off my phone, maybe they'll have to pay some compensation at high level. Well, but it's yet another thing. The Yeti's absolutely filthy little tiny fingers are across, you know, as a recipient. But look, none of us benefit from more crime that the Yeti has committed. We know there's a lifetime of crime. What we want is to see some action about it. Thank you, Merrick Garland. Oh, God. Justice delayed is justice denied. What is he doing? Shall we have a little look? And then we're going to look at Jack Smith. Let's just have a little look, because Merrick Garland must have been horrified and frustrated by the documents saga. Oh, what's going to happen? Merrick, oh, let us see some cards of action, please. Yeah, working diligently, we know, yes. Oh, goody, goody. Possible. Oh, I'm getting the vibe of Jack Smith for this, and we're just about to do him. Well, okay, little update on Merrick Garland. This is what he's known for, being very methodical, one foot after the other, making sure the case is watertight, etc., that everything has been crafted beautifully for a legal case. Anyway, come on, snap out of it, Lena. He's waiting for his ship to come in. I'd rather he wasn't waiting for anything, but look, it still implies this. He's put the boats out there, right, in different forms. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here. And he's waiting for them to return. There will be a sudden rush, let's hope, of action and indictments. And if it was tomorrow, it's none too soon. There is movement here. I was craving movement. Page of Pentacles. Okay, how to make, see, Pentacles here. This is working methodically on the material steps involving money. And this is a message about that money coming forward. And the point with the Page of Pentacles is looking at that, how to make that grow. So it's looking at how to make this story unfold. King of Wands. Look, let's hope Jack Smith doesn't let the collective of America down. because Muller, I don't blame Muller himself. He did the job he was tasked to do. He could have presented it when he did have a microphone for 5 minutes and be much clearer than he was. Remember that sentence that used all those, around the world things, instead of saying he did this, it's just like, well, we didn't prove that he didn't do it, or, whatever the sentence was, you know what I mean. Wasn't him. We know it was Bill Barr. However, there's been enough pulling the chain. So let's hope that Jack Smith is going to deliver. Well, we'll now have a look at exactly that question. Oh, please. And we're all grown-ups here. We understand no matter what he finds, no matter what he says, the Republicans are going to fight. They can't even get rid of George Santos, let alone the Yeti, Mind you, we have to be grateful for George, whatever his name might be, Santos, because he's provided a bit of light relief in the last few weeks when there hasn't been much other good news. His constituents are up in arms, good thing. They're planning to talk to every Republican senator. Well, good luck with that. They're going to get their 10 minutes and head nods, and then no. Didn't I say Santos will refuse to leave? Because the first time he's had a paycheck in God knows how long. So, but he is going to be an anchor. He's going to be an anchor around them, because everyone, no matter what their persuasion was, there was something about the George Santos story that everyone got, that this guy is a major liar, and he is still there getting paid as a member of Congress. I think everyone gets that. And they all know it's a scam. So he might still have a role to play in the big picture. And again, the Dems are missing a chance. If they can't trust themselves to get rid of Santos, how can you trust this party? They just miss it. They're not good in the gutter. Oh, okay. Jack Smith. Big picture, Jack Smith. Will this move the wheels of justice? Will it move big wheels? Because as yet, we still haven't seen any sort of comeuppance for not just the Yeti, but the second tier, the Jim Jordans, Mark Meadows, all of them. Sidney Powell, Ginny Thomas. I mean, they're just walking scandals. Oh, please, Jack Smith. Please, Jack Smith. Okay, let's have a... This Page of Pentacles is trying to get me to look at another angle today. I'm going to do a clarifier on that. Okay. Now, this is good as far as I'm concerned. The Four of Wands, the wedding card, blah, blah. This is, I think Jack Smith got to, I don't know this for sure, but my vibe with this, he got to handpick his team or teams, depending on the cases they're looking at. And he did that very carefully. Just a reminder, he has come back from Europe where he was prosecuting war crimes. So if anyone can do hard cases like this, it's Jack Smith. So I think this represents his team. Now, they're not out of the woods yet. This is the card I was just talking about, arguing in circles. And I think this argument now is, what the hell are we going to do about this documents case? I think this is a problem. I think he's going to come up with a strategy here. It is going to wound the Dems. There's still swords in the boat, but it's not fatal. He's going to come up with some sort of strategy to deal with that case. The Magician. And I think it will take an act of magicianhood to be able to push on with the Yeti's case about the documents. So he has got all the tools and he is going to do something. Page of Pentacles, message about money. But what? Let me get my other Italian cards out because I find these cards really good for clarifiers. So why the page? Why the Page of Pentacles? What's this speaking about? I think, you know what I think it might be referring to? Might seem weird, but stick with me here. The Page of Pentacles is a young person. It's not the sword of truth, but nonetheless, the nitty-gritty. It's like Cassidy Hutchinson and some of the younger ones who spoke up at great personal cost. It's their testimony that will help him. I think that's what it's about. They were able to give some very specific, because pentacles are earth material, very specific things. Let's just see what the clarifiers have to say. Okay. I think with this, I think there will be a bit of a cause for celebration here, and God knows we're overdue. Artistry, there's an art. In a way, law, there's a great artistry in theatre, in law. So for anyone who's studied law or been close to someone who studied law, there's a lot of law that isn't fascinating, that isn't interesting, that is mind-bendingly, crushingly tedious to get through. And what we as lay people think of the law, you know, To Kill a Mockingbird type court cases are very few and far between. But he's the magician, and artistry, I think he's able to employ some extreme form of theatre or artistry to make this case. This is very weird. Let me know what you think that means, please. And as we watch it unfold, someone please remind me in 3 months' time or something, go, remember you were going, there's going to be something theatrical? Normally the theatre's on the other side of the aisle. So wouldn't it be great to have some dem theatre that actually just went boom and blew the case open? Oh, we can but hope, we can but pray. May the gods be with you. That's gods with an S. We've got to cover all bases, whatever that is, your personal take on that. In the meantime, I love you all immensely, and I'll see you soon. Ciao, ciao.